Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Sorry this video is a little bit later today than what I would normally do. Just a crazy busy week with one thing and another. As you know, life just gets away with you, gets away from you, not gets away with you. So in today's video, going to be talking about Harry losing his court case and obviously some of the other little things that I have picked up over the course of the week in media-wise, including a little article from our Jack Royston. Going to have words with him. So if you want to join me in this video, then as this lovely lady, a subscriber to the channel, is about to tell you, because as people are now sending in their videos, thank you for the lovely support to JD in the previous video, our little bubble horse. But this lovely lady has done a video for you as well. So here it is.
Hey guys, it's me, Crispy Skates from Florida. And it's time to grab your drink of choice. And as she likes to say, if you want to add a little something something to it, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
So don't forget, if you want to join in this, where you are bringing your videos on here on the channel, where you can grab your drink of choice, please do that. If you're a bit camera shy, then you don't have to show yourself on camera. You can do it anyway. Be as creative as you like. I honestly do not mind. This lovely lady has a YouTube channel. I'm going to put this up here for you. So please go across and give her a follow. And also, if you want to find the link to her channel, I have put that in the description box of this video. So give all the love and support to her, and grateful for the fact that she chose to come on and do the video for us today. So before I get into Harry, I just want to give a little bit of a mention to Jack. Is it Jack Royston? It is Jack Royston, isn't it? I feel like he's like a covert cult squad member. I saw an article that he put out in regards to Harry in Africa Parks, and again I'm gonna give my disgust in the fact that there has been complete silence still with Harry and Meghan in asking anything about them, doing anything about them. The fact that Harry, and I've said this before in a previous video, the fact that Harry knew about this and then accepted the promotion of being on the board of directors, I find despicable, because to me there you have an opportunity to really again create change. And again, this speaks volumes to, in my opinion, the way Harry and Meghan are. They are people that just give lip service. So on the surface of everything, it's like, oh yes, we're very much conscientious of people and caring about people and wanting to make these really big positive changes. But actually, they will expect other people to create some changes, but they will take credit for it, and they do that by offering a little donation via their Merchewell Foundation, and it's then they take complete credit for something. But the fact that you have such atrocities being done, you have Africa Parks, in my opinion, trying to cover their backs, because they have said, oh, you know, we take this very seriously. There's a zero tolerance for all of this. I dislike that immensely, because you cannot say there's a zero tolerance, but you've known about it but done nothing about it. That's not a zero tolerance. That's a zero doing anything about it. We're just, you know, and to me, the only reason they're coming out making these statements now is because they've been called out by the media. And you still have Harry and Meghan who've done nothing. So now what we have is Jack Royston coming out doing articles talking about it, but now what he's doing is he's now bringing up Prince William. And so I want to read this little bit here where he says, And the caption is, why Prince William should watch Harry's latest drama carefully. So again, we've brought in an attachment to the royal family. This is nothing to do with them. This is Harry's bag. To me, this is something that Harry should be sorting out. We have to bring in the attachment to the royal family to deflect away from Harry. So it says, Prince William may want to pay close attention to the recent drama that has engulfed Prince Harry's involvement with a charity in Africa, as discussions grow about the colonial and potentially racist roots of conservation charity work in the region. A new episode of New Week's The Royal Report podcast has discussed. I'm sorry. Where has colonialism come into this? Where has racism come into this? So again, and I'm sorry, but this smacks to me of some, like, certain people behind the scenes who, again, fueling and using racism as a weapon. So he goes on to say, conservation work in Africa was pulled into public focus last month when it was revealed that Prince Harry accepted a spot on the board of directors of the charity Africa Parks after the group Survival International wrote a letter to him detailing alleged, it's not alleged, it happened, it's not alleged, abuses conducted by the organisation's rangers at the Baka tribes people in the Republic of Congo. Harry, being honorary president of the charity in 2017, with Survival International writing to him about their concerns in May 2023. 4 months later, it was announced that the prince had been promoted to the board of directors. So Harry knew about this when he was honorary president, and then he got promoted and he accepted that promotion, knowing this was going on, and did nothing apart from raise a concern. After a newspaper exposed of the letter and Survival International's concerns about Africa Parks, a spokesperson for Harry's Archewell Foundation said in a statement, when the Duke became aware of these serious allegations, he immediately escalated them to the CEO and chairman of the board of Africa Parks, the appropriate people to handle next steps. So that basically then says, I've done my bit. Did my bit, don't need to do anything else. Well, isn't it funny how when it's something that concerns them, they will go all out. They will sue, they will take people to court, they will do statements, they will be outraged. Nothing from Harry and Meghan, considering how much they're supposed to care about people. But as long as Harry's done the right steps, that's like when you find out something so bad and you just tell someone about it. Well, I did tell someone about it. But it's like, but where's... You're telling me you're saying there's nothing you could have done. So you, a prince of the UK, who is on the board of directors, you're telling me that there's absolutely nothing. Have you followed it up? Have you constantly done something? Have you done a statement in outrage? I am outraged about this. I have found out about this. I have sent it through to the right people. However, I am following this closely. I am making sure that steps are being made to do everything possible to protect these people. No, there's been nothing. Just complete silence. The charity has launched an investigation into the worrying allegations. These are not worrying allegations. These are disgusting, terrible allegations that, by all accounts, seem to be factually true. Then Royston suggests could highlight the works being undertaken by other organisations in Africa, many of which have links with the British royals, including William. Just taking a minute. I don't know about you, but I am getting so tired of the media trying to go after the royal family, even when it's nothing to do with them. If nothing is being brought up about other charities, there's no concern. There's nothing to be concerned about. Let's just focus, Mr. Royston, on the fact that Harry and Meghan have done nothing for these people to protect them. Nothing. They haven't used their influence, which they could have done. Nothing to protect them, to investigate this, to make sure these people are protected. And this never, ever happens again. That those people are fired and charged with what they've done. Nothing. So to now try and deflect away from that, to now bring into question charities that are attached to other members of the royal family. And funnily enough, Harry's brother, who Harry seems to have this absolute vendetta against, now we're bringing him into this, even though it's nothing to do with him. But yeah, we're going to bring in William. The big picture disputes here may have some relevance beyond the Congo, just in terms of the need to respect local tribespeople and not view them as part of the problem, Royston says. Among the organisations with operations in Africa that have links to William are Tusk, a conservation charity that he became royal patron of. And I think he also at some point goes on to mention William said that come into dispute. There is a big difference between saying something that has upset people for whatever reason, to condoning or doing nothing. To be complacent is to be complicit. And I'm sure didn't one of them mention that at some point? I think Meghan did. You're complicit in this because you're doing nothing. And then to deflect away from that, you're trying to drag your brother into this, who it's got nothing to do with. Nothing. I honestly cannot be more disgusted if I tried. And I'm sick and tired of people like Jack Royston and Omid Scobie just constantly using the platform that they have to just write this drivel. Instead of calling Harry out, which is what somebody needs to do, that's credible, that's got millions of followers, that needs to call Prince Harry out for the fact that he's doing nothing. When you've got the fact that you had Meghan on an African interview talking about how no one's asked me if I'm okay. Well, do you know what? Has anyone asked them if they're okay? I'm sorry. I know I'm getting cross. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to get cross. And I understand this can be, frustrating for people. But I'm just fed up with it. I am absolutely fed up with the fact that nothing gets done. Nobody calls them out. I'll tell you what, if I was in the media, if I had a spot, say, well, to be fair, I'd probably get fired. I'd be like Piers Morgan, probably. But if I did, I would be calling him out. I'm so tired of people being scared. I'm so tired of companies holding something over somebody. Like, for example, like even with YouTube, you're censored to a point. You can't say certain things. The truth should never be censored. At the end of the day, there's ways of wording things to get your point across. You don't have to be horrible to get something across, but the truth has to matter. We're getting so much disinformation and misinformation in the media that we don't know what the truth is anymore. And when you have somebody that is as high as what Harry was and still has an element where he can use his platform to do good, and he's choosing to waste his time, which is what we're going to get to in a minute, with these ridiculous court cases, instead of actually putting his energy behind what matters. It's like, why do these people not matter to some people? Why? Why do some human lives just seem to mean nothing? Because what? Because they're not in the Western society. These are tribal people. What, does that not mean anything? Do their lives mean less than anyone else? No. I don't understand why we have reporters that do not do their job. We are in a society now where, as long as you're getting money, as long as you're getting column inches, it doesn't matter what you say. Again, Jack Royston could have used his platform to say, Harry, you're wrong. You and your wife have a platform. You can do some good here. Sort this out. Don't just do the bare minimum of oh, well, you know, I went down the right steps to get this sorted. What have you done since then? Nothing. Well, all the while, these people are scared and don't know what's happening, and these people are getting away with it. Honestly, if I ran this country, I would run this so differently. I really would. I really would. I just, yeah, ran over. Sorry. So let's go on to Harry again, because, well, you know, because we never get enough of Harry doing whatever he's doing. But the good news, bit of ray of sunshine, is that Harry has lost his court case. And for those of you who don't know what it is, I'm sure most of you do, but he was trying to get paid security for coming over here because he was scared for him and his family, albeit that he writes in his book about the unaliving of 25 Taliban. Wasn't too scared there, was you, Harry? Wasn't too scared when your wife rolled down a window in Canada or in the UK because she needs to be seen. Wasn't too scared in New York getting out of a blacked out vehicle to go into a yellow taxi cab. Who does that if you're scared? None of that matters, because Harry just needs to have and needs to feel that he's important, him and his wife. So it says here, the Duke of Sussex has lost a legal challenge against the Home Office over his right to automatic police protection in the UK after he was stripped of taxpayer-funded security. Quite rightly so, because, Harry, you're not a working royal. You decided that you didn't want to be doing this anymore. You wanted to hobnob it in Hollywood to be with all the famous A-list celebrities and to be whatever it was that you thought that you were going to be over there, and the fact that it's failed, well, that's on you and your wife and not anybody else. Harry took legal action over the February 2020 decision of the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, which is RAVIC, after being told he would no longer be given the same degree of protection when in the country. The court rejected the Duke's challenge and concluded that there was no unlawfulness by RAVIC in reaching its decision. The judge found that any departure from policy was justified and that the decision was not irrational or marred by procedural unfairness. But of course, that's Harry's line, isn't it? It's unfair. Honestly, if you've ever seen, people in the UK will probably know what I'm talking about, Kevin and Perry, where Kevin and Perry, they play teenagers. And one of the things is one of them just goes, honestly, and if I can find a clip, I don't know if I'm going to be copyright struck. I don't know. But anyway, but in the thing, he's like, he sulks. He's like, it's not fair. And to me, honestly, and I feel that's what Harry says all the time. It's not fair. That is literally how I feel like he just walks around in life. Oh, it's not fair. Daddy's cut me off. It's not fair. I can't get security. It's not fair. Nobody likes me. It's not fair. William's going to be king one day. It's not fair. And I literally feel that that's what he does. So the High Court ruled that even if such procedure unfairness occurred, the court would be prevented from granting the Duke any relief. The membership of RAVIC, the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, has traditionally been shrouded in secrecy. But the Telegraph has previously revealed that Sir Clive Alderton, the King's principal private secretary, is amongst the 10 people tasked with making decisions on the level of protective security afforded to members of the royal family and public figures at particular risk. Chris Fitzgerald, the King's Deputy Private Secretary, also sits on the committee, as does a senior aide to Prince William. And I do find that interesting, and I do wonder if they were quite the deciding factor. And you can guarantee that if, the fact that Harry would know this now, if he didn't know it before, he will know this now, because this is all in the public domain. This is going to be one of the things for him, because apparently he's now appealing this now. Of course he is. So I mean, wasting all this time and yet nothing to do with the Barker people. Yeah, we don't worry about them. That was yesterday's news. Once he finds out that there's connection, that'll be the next thing. My family have stopped me getting security. That's you can guarantee that's going to be the next thing, and that certainly will be, if you ever take anything that the Cult Squad say seriously, that will be probably the rule of thumb that the family have had, that have stopped Harry from doing this, because Harry seems to fail to see his responsibility in anything, and the fact that he just gets told no. He does not like being told no, Harry. This is what I've said, he's very similar to Meghan, doesn't like being told no, whereas Meghan goes on all out manipulative, nasty, devious revenge, Harry just throws his toys out the pram and, like I say, just goes, oh, it's not fair, and decides, so I'm going to get my own back now. I'm going to put a Sussex website up because it's going to annoy my family. Along the three senior members of the royal household sit the chairman of the National Police Chiefs Council Counter-Terrorism Coordination Committee, the Deputy Assistant Commissioner, Specialist Operations at the Metropolitan Police, the Director General of the Homeland Security Group at the Home Office, and the Deputy Director of the National Security Secretary at the Cabinet Office, the Director of Protocol at the Foreign Office, and the Head of Royalty VIP and MP Security Unit at the Homeland Security Group. They are also on the committee. Sir Judge Peter Lane noted that Prince Harry believed he should receive state-funded protective security whenever he is in the UK because of his position within the royal family and factors concerning his past and present situations. He added, Ravik did not share this view. The paper provided by the royal household in January 2020 warned the claimant that he would likely need private security. But back in January 2020, the royal family, the late Queen, I imagine, was still thinking that Harry and Meghan would still be contributing to being a working royal. Even though, yes, Megxit did happen, but I would imagine that talks around that time was still going to be around the fact that they were having this time, whatever was going on, but they were still going to be contributing. Not that they were then going to go all the way over to Canada, then to California, and then spend the next 4 years attacking and trashing the royal family and the institution that he still wants security for. So hang on a minute. So what you really want here, it's a bit like when you go to a job, you go to a high paid job or any job, and you get a company car and you get all the, the benefits. It's like you're being fired from that job, or you leave that job, but you then still expect the company car and you still expect all the benefits that come with having that job. It doesn't work that way. You left. Get your own security, which is what he does have. It's just that he doesn't want to pay for it, because what he's realising fast now, which is what the problem is that money is running out. Nobody's interested, so he hasn't got all those millions coming in, and he is now panicking. So at the meeting in mid-January 2020, the Cabinet Secretary explained to the claimant's private secretary that the claimant should have no expectation of his existing security arrangements remaining. This was reiterated at a meeting 27th of January 2020. The Duke said that each time he has visited the UK since 2021, he had formally requested protective security in advance, giving the required 28-day notice. However, the response on every occasion, which is largely redacted in court documents, was branded wholly inadequate. So basically, he was refused royal protection. And this is what it is. Someone has told Harry no, and Harry doesn't like it. The decision to deny him protection during his flying visit for his father's coronation last May was deemed irrational. In response, Sir James EDKC for the Home Office insisted otherwise, despite the fact that these matters have been explained to the claimant in correspondence and now in evidence. The claimant still fails to engage with the explanation given. He said Ravik's approach is unchallengeable. And that's exactly it. Harry just goes, la, 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 la. I'm not listening to anything you have to say, because it doesn't matter what reason they give him. I believe in Harry's mind, which is probably what he's done with the court cases prior, is that he has believed being a prince of the UK, or ex-prince of the UK, a member of the British royal family, will create people to panic. I'm taking you to court, and they're going to go, oh my gosh, we're going up against the royals. We don't want that. Yeah, let's buy him off. Let's go. Yes, Harry, have what you want. What Harry's realising now is that these people are doubling down, and they're saying, you know what, Harry, take us to court. We've got all the receipts. If you want to take us to court, you crack on, because we will fight you. And Harry, who's just literally coasted on his name and his family, who's gone to court with not really any receipts apart from my feelings have been hurt and this is really awful, has now realised that actually consequences have actions. You don't get to leave the royal family and have your cake and eat it. You don't get to be 3/4 out and 1/4 in when you feel like it. You don't get to trash the royal family, the institution, the country, etc., and then get all these benefits. You don't get to not be a working royal but still get all these benefits. You get told no. And Harry doesn't like it. And this is what we're now getting, which is now why he's demanded the name of the person who's gone against him. Because, you know, would you like some cheese with your wine, Harry? This is him again going, it's not fair. I need to know the person. For what? What do you think that's going to do, Harry? You have no power. You have no sway. No one's afraid of you. No one's going, oh my gosh, we're going up against Prince Harry. In fact, if anything, it's probably laughable. So what do you think that you having the name of the person and I don't think it's one person, it's probably collective, but that whoever it is that said, you know, no, Harry, what are you going to do? What exactly? I'm going to get my dad on you. What? Because his dad will probably be like, you know what? Thank you for saying no. So Sir James also chastised the Duke for comparing himself to other royals and VIPs who receive protective security, branding the argument inappropriate. So again, this is what he does. He's compared himself to his late mother. He's comparing himself to other royals who actually work. He's you know, constantly again bringing in what happened to his mother, even though we know what happened to his mother. But again, he uses that because he believes that's his get out of jail free card. Whenever anything goes wrong, I'm going to bring in about my mum, so I get all the sympathy. But it's gone. People are not interested. It's like, stop using your mum when it suits you. Because prior to Meghan, prior to all of this, he very rarely spoke about his mum. Suddenly now he realises, oh, that's currency. And that's disgusting. Harry doesn't quite grasp the fact that every time he uses his late mother, it's ghoulish. It's just so macabre. It's horrible. And people are sick of it. People are like, let your mother rest in peace. Leave her alone. Leave the family alone. Go away. Live your life. Do what you want to do, but just leave everybody alone. Because again, in everything that he does, he's got to bring his brother. Like I say, the Barker people. Oh no, let's deflect and bring in my brother who's got a charity, a Tusk. Yeah, no, we'll talk about that. La la la. We're not going to talk about what I haven't done. We're going to talk about my brother. You know, his recent Hulu, bringing in his brother again. My brother's jealous. You know. And the reports, you know, you can't tell me that Harry's not saying this behind the scenes, because where do they get it from? You know that it's either him or Meghan, one of the two. So it says that the Duke has made several high-profile visits to the UK since embarking on his legal action. In each occasion, he's been denied the right to police protection, instead travelling with his own private security team from the US. Yeah, quite rightly so. And that's how it should be. No more being funded by taxpayers, whether it be here, whether it be the States, whether it be Canada, whatever. No, sort your own stuff out. You're nearly 40 years of age. You don't get to keep sailing on daddy's purse strings, or anyone else for that matter. Most recently, he flew over to see his father, the King, in the wake of his cancer diagnosis. After a 30-minute meeting at Clarence House, the Duke left the royal residence without police outriders and spent the night in a London hotel. Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo, Harry. The Duke was given the green light to bring a legal challenge in July 2022, and his claim was heard over 3 days in December, largely in private. Court documents, while heavily redacted, revealed that the Duke compared his own treatment to that of specific individuals whose names were withheld. He said the inconsistent approach was demonstrated by the fact that a risk analysis was not carried out for him as it was for others. And yet this is the child who wrote in his book about taking the lives of 25 Taliban. If you were that worried, why would you put that in your book? If you were that worried, like I say, why would you be winding down the windows, you know, when you're in your car? All of this is because Harry doesn't want to foot the bill. And he wants to seem more important than what he really is. And then, like we've said before, he's going for his IPP status, which gives him even more protection, especially from being sued. He can find out information about things. And again, this all goes to the censoring that he's attempting to do to try and shut down any negative opinions about him or Meghan. And like I've always said, and I also think it's to stop the truth coming out about those children, because I will say this till the cows come home. Those children do not live with him or her. In fact, They do not live in that mansion in Montecito. And in one of my videos, I found some interesting information, so I'm going to be doing a video on that. Actually, I'm not going to do it on this one because it's already half an hour in anyway. It just goes on to say various things about what happened within the court case in general, but most of it really is saying that, you know, Sir Peter gave a damning response to the Duke's claim that he was entitled to a full risk analysis by the Risk Management Board, RMB. He said the claimant has no right to require Ravik to initiate a fresh RMB process in the light of his changed situation. In determining what fairness demands in this context, it is important to understand that undergoing an RMB assessment is not a right or a benefit. It is, as Sir James E.D. Casey said, it's an analytical tool. As such, the judge said, I do not consider that there was any procedural unfairness such as might vitiate the decision. The judge agreed with the Home Office that Ravik was well aware of the claimant's status, background and profile. The decision adopted a flexible approach precisely in order to recognise that he might warrant exceptions being made in future. Certain times in the future where, on a case-by-case, he might get that protection. Which, when there is a state event, a royal event, and say Harry was here, he would get the same level, I believe, or not the same level, but he would get that protection because it's a royal event. He's talking, so Harry's obviously wanting every time he swans into the UK or wherever, he's like, no, I want police protection. Well, it doesn't work that way. The Duke was particularly critical of the fact that Ravik did not commission a new threat assessment when he returned to the UK in June 2021 for the Well Child event. However, the judge said, given, however, that the required 28 days notice was not given, I accept there would have been a considerable time pressure on the production of such an assessment. So Harry didn't even give the 28 days notice. But again, Harry takes no blame. It's always somebody else's fault. Always. I can't possibly be at fault here. It's got to be somebody else. So Sir Peter was also scathing about the Duke's assertion that it was irrational to ask him to give 28 days notice of any travel to the UK. There is no merit in this contention, he said. It arose from the need to be able to address a statement of the kind belatedly given by the claimant to Ravik in relation to the June-July 2021 visit. Given Ravik's expertise, the decision to require 28 days notice would need to be shown by reference to evidence to have been plucked out of the air or imposed for some extraneous reason. Before this head of challenge could come out, the claimant has pointed to nothing of the kind. So basically, Harry's contesting that he shouldn't give 28 days notice. But if you want that level of protection, it takes time to set that up. It takes time to put things in place. It's not just a case of, you know what, I'm coming and they're going, oh yeah, you know, we've got all this police protection to spare. They're just doing nothing. They're just sitting drinking coffee all day. Yeah, okay, crack on over there to where Harry is and you can just protect him. You know, they have to put things in place. They have to juggle things, move things around, make sure there's safety measures. You know, honestly, the arrogance of this man-child is just astounding to me. And I can understand why they have said no, in all fairness, because Harry hasn't come with anything credible, any evidence that really is factually based. It's just, it's not fair. I should have this. Everyone else has it and I don't like it. That's literally what this is. So it says a legal spokesman for the Duke of Sussex said the Duke will appeal today's judgment, which refuses his judicial review claim against the decision-making body Ravik, which includes the Home Office, the Royal Household and the Met Police. Although these are not labels used by Ravik, three categories as revealed during the litigation comprise the Ravik cohort, the role-based category, the occasional category and other VIP category. The Duke is not asking for preferential treatment, but for a fair and lawful application of Ravik's own rules, ensuring that he receives the same consideration as others in accordance with Ravik's own written policy. In February 2020, Ravik failed to apply its written policy to the Duke of Sussex and excluded him from a particular risk analysis. The Duke of Sussex hopes he will obtain justice from the Court of Appeal and makes no further comment while the case is ongoing. But Harry, you are asking for preferential treatment. That's the point. Because you are not a working royal. You're not. So you are asking for preferential treatment, because whereas royals are actually working royals and they do things, and not only that, they are out and about all the time, you are not. And you're not living here in the UK. You reside in America. So if you're coming over here for a royal event, then you get protection. That's standard. But if you're coming over here for whatever reason, with your ridiculous court case, and again, it's the selfish entitledness of those two, because it costs the taxpayer. So rather than Harry kind of going, you know what, we're all in a crisis here, but I'm a millionaire, I can afford my own security, we'll leave it at that. No. Harry doesn't care about people. He just cares about himself. And this is why nobody is endearing to those two. No matter what they do, no matter how much of a rebrand they do, the selfishness that comes out, that oozes out of those two is so plainly obvious. And that is why they're not liked. It's not to do with anything else of the fact that, well, I mean, there are things, but the main aspect is the selfishness, the entitlement that those two have, the zero consideration for anyone other than themselves. And that's just my point on this. So let me know what you think in the comments. Have you enjoyed this video? And if you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed and you would not want to miss future uploads, then think about subscribing. That would help. If you want to drop me an email, you can. My email will be along the bottom here, and it will also be in the description box of my video and in my bio of the YouTube channel. If you would like to treat me to a cuppa because you enjoy what I do here and you want to support what I do behind the scenes, which is giving free therapy to people who are struggling financially, because as I've always said, I believe mental health support should be for everybody and not just be for the people that can afford it financially. You can do so. And I also use some of the money for my giveaways where I do one in the summer and one at Christmas. If you want to send me something, write to me. I have a PO box. You can do so. If you want to buy my bubble merchandise, you can. You can also join me on other platforms. I'm over on Instagram and on TikTok. You can join me there. And I'm also on Rumble as well. So if you haven't joined my other channel, which is Tea and Therapy, if you want any tips and tools on mental health aspects or life coaching, then there is that channel there as well. So like I say, in the meantime, just please look after yourselves first and foremost, regardless, because that has to come first. But I will see you in next week's video. Have a lovely weekend, whatever you are doing. And in the meantime, as always, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye.